crazy in the first round of the NFL draft. So many wide receivers are getting drafted, traded. None of them involving the Bears at this point. Also not involving the Packers to this point, though. Did involve the Lions, however, with Jameson Williams. Lot going on with the wide receivers. What's up? Welcome in. This is the CHGO Draft Day live show presented by PointsBet. And if you're looking to bet on who the Bears will take, head over to PointsBet, the home of live betting for the NFL draft. PointsBet will price any draft market you want. Download the PointsBet app today. Use code CHGO to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. What's up? I'm Adam Hoge, Nicholas Moreano, Will DeWitt. Olin Kreutz will join us as soon as the first round is over to get his take on everything that's happened and get you ready for the Bears picks, which we expect tomorrow. But welcome in. We're happy you're here. We're happy we're here. We're going to have a lot of fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, this draft is nuts. So you can't not have fun with everything that's going on right now.
You can't keep up with all the madness that's ensuing. And we have the draft up here on the screen, and I don't know if that's even enough because of all the movement that's going on right now.
So the biggest news that just went down right before we got on that we need to react to is that A.J. Brown was traded to the Eagles.
Yeah.
And with that pick, Tennessee took a different wide receiver in Treylon Burks from Arkansas after a bunch of wide receivers have already come off the board. And by the way, I just want to point out, according to our guy Dane Brugler in the Beast, the next wide receiver up is Sky Moore. Your guy will. I mean, that's how deep we've already gotten with the wide receivers in this first round. A.J. Brown traded, gets a 4-year, $100 million contract with $57 million guaranteed, according to some reports that are already out there. That's a big deal. And then, also worth a first-round pick is Marquise Brown, apparently.
Number 23 overall, is that correct?
Yeah.
That seemed a little high.
So he goes to Arizona. So it's not even just the wide receivers, and we'll recap them all here in a minute, but the wide receivers in the draft, it's also we're seeing veterans traded as well.
Yeah, and that doesn't bode well for the Bears, right? For seeing who can possibly be there in the second round with all the wide receivers that have been taken. I think it really started, you guys, at pick number 10 when the Jets took Garrett Wilson, and then you saw 3 consecutive trade-ups. And then you get Chris Olave to the Saints. You get Jameson Williams to the Detroit Lions. Then the Eagles take Jordan Davis. But you just saw wide receivers go off the board there. And like I said, the Bears need wide receivers. Who's going to even be there in round 2?
5 already off the clock. 2 veterans have already kind of moved teams here in the last half hour. And the Bears are going to play the waiting game. And obviously you don't want to pick just for need. And I know there's some good quality depth here at the position, but there's a chance that you're looking at 8 receivers off the board before tonight's over.
Yeah, 8, man. That would be – and we haven't seen, the run on, corners yet, so I wonder if that's going to happen too. But 8 wide receivers, again, players of need. But we just saw Trevor Penning also just got drafted to the Saints just to kind of keep up with everything that's going on with this crazy draft. But, yeah, it's been – everything is advertised.
Well, let's recap the wide receivers, okay, since I know that's what the Bears fans – we've heard it for months now, and we understand it. And they're having similar conversations in Green Bay as well. So we did not see a wide receiver go until number 8. Falcons, Drake London, the wide receiver from USC, was the first to go. Then skip a pick. 10, Garrett Wilson comes off the board to the Jets. So they'll have a Wilson-to-Wilson connection there in New York. The big trade up from the Saints to go get Chris Olave. Even bigger trade up from the Lions, Jameson Williams. So a couple dangerous with Amon-Ra St. Brown. I always screw that up.
He's good, though.
He's way better football player than I am at saying his name. Paired with Jameson Williams. And all of a sudden, those are some matchup problems in the NFC North. I mean, you still have Jared Goff throwing him the ball, but for all the negative things we can say about Jared Goff, he's still competent. As a starter, he's not dominant, and obviously you saw what the Rams did without him once they got Matthew Stafford, but that's a problem the Bears are going to have to start to deal with. Then Jahan Dotson goes to the USFL Commanders at number 16, and Treylon Burks off the board at 18 to the Titans. So I guess it could be worse if like any of those guys had gone to Green Bay.
Yep.
I would imagine. Well, I forgot we do have Aaron Rodgers here with us all the time producing. We could check in with him at any given moment on how he's feeling about the wide receivers coming off the board.
Yeah. Hi, guys.
Yeah. How you doing?
I'm all right. You know what, though? I need to get involved here because
All
I
the
gotta
wide
tell you,
receivers are being taken.
you know, you see the Steelers are on the clock up there, up in our straight above my head here, up there.
Yeah.
We got a lot of extra graffics tonight. I'm a little.
You
bit
are doing a
nervous.
great job there, Aaron Rodgers. Why don't you show everyone that sweet koozie, by the way?
Oh.
Since you have that going. I mean, that's pretty much the best koozie you can get right now.
Is
Look at that.
not necessarily real yet. That's kind of
Yeah,
personally
sure.
made.
Well, what do you mean
Whoa,
not real?
AJ Brown gets $100 million.
It's real.
Holy moly!
That
Well,
sounds
yes,
like
it's
something
real,
Aaron
yeah.
Rodgers would say. Like this, what I'm holding is not.
No, they know that.
Is it really real?
Maybe it's not for sale.
Is it not real?
AJ Brown, $100 million. Did you guys know that?
Yes.
See?
Well,
I
you've
knew
been
that.
working on all those killer
Yeah.
graphics.
Yeah, we knew that.
Yeah, thank you.
He makes a lot of money.
We'll have Aaron Rodgers' reaction all
We
night
do have a
long.
super chat. Do you want to go to the super chat while
Yes.
I'm looking at? I'm going to get myself.
I
on
recognize this super chat
I think
coming
I
in.
see where he's at right now. Oh, is that Kevin? There he is,
There.
waving to us. Hi, Kevin.
Congrats on the first Draft Day Live pod, guys. Looking forward to the next 3 days.
Be a lot of fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we should also mention not only is Kevin here tonight, but Macy the dog is here, making a run at Bill Belichick's dog for draft night dog. So we got a lot of things going on here. We're really excited about it. And it's been a fun night as we've watched all of this unfold. So what's your first reaction, I guess, to everything that's – why don't you just give me your initial reactions? A lot of wide receivers off the board, which is not great, could also be worse because really only one of them ended up in the NFC North so far.
That's true. I think for me, it's like that 3 consecutive trades that happened. Just seeing that as we're kind of watching the drafts, like, oh, it's originally the Commanders supposed to pick. Oh, no, now it's the Saints.
And you're wondering with each one of those trades, oh, this is for a QB because that's
Yeah.
normally what it's
Hey guys,
for.
I'm going to jump in here because we got something for you. You just kind of pay attention here. We'll see if this works.
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
Ooh. Sounds dangerous.
Yeah. So guess what's happening here? We have a
I'm
pick
scared.
that's going to be coming in here momentarily. So just hold on a second here. It's okay. We're in preview mode, Joey. We're fine here. I still see them on
This is-
camera.
This
Okay,
is
so
this
let's
is
just try this now. Okay.
the
let's
suspense is
publish
killing me
this.
right now, wondering what's actually
Ooh,
going to happen.
look at that.
Okay, the Bears make a pick already.
Not the Bears. This is
Well,
not
I
the
know,
Bears.
but it
the
looks like it.
graphic looks awesome.
It's a great graphic.
A pick is in.
A pick is in, and it is by the Steelers.
Oh,
Also,
Kenny
he's staying-
Pickett.
A lot of people staying too, like where they played college. I've noticed that, which is like a big theme. He had Hutchinson
Yes.
as well,
Yep,
and then
Michigan.
the guy from NC State went to the Panthers. I'm forgetting his name, the offensive lineman off the top of my head, but I saw that.
Oh, Quanu?
Yeah, so
Icky?
like here's another one that played college at Pittsburgh, and he stays there in order to play for the Steelers. And Mitch Trubisky has a QB battle.
So
issue
that
in his
whole
hand.
time, Mitch Trubisky really was the Steelers' Mike Glennon.
yeah, how the
How the
turntables.
roll- Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's
Well, this is a good scenario though. Like we did our preview video before the draft. The Bears want quarterbacks to go in the first round, and now we get the first one with Kenny Pickett going to the Pittsburgh Steelers. But you would like to see that maybe a run on quarterbacks. I don't know if that's going to happen with the teams remaining, but this is a good thing for the Bears. Get another skilled position to possibly be there on day 2 of the draft. But Kenny Pickett.
just another reminder, and we all know this going into the draft, but all this morning I was seeing on Twitter was about how the Steelers, they've tipped their pick. They love Malik Willis, and they were like so public. They wanted people to think they were taking Malik Willis, and now you see it was really Kenny Pickett the entire time. And with that connection, the Pitt connection is even more than most of these connections because they literally practice at the Steelers facility. Like that, they share those facilities. They play in the same stadium. So if there's a team that knows Kenny Pickett well, it is definitely the Pittsburgh Steelers. And you know what? Congrats to Kenny Pickett. He really did a hell of a job to boost his draft stock this year. And it ended up in the first round.
He didn't let the small hands deter him.
That's right.
And, he's able to get drafted number 20 overall. But, Adam, you were kind of describing that whole situation where, the Steelers are looking at Malik Willis doing all these interviews. Doesn't it kind of remind you what the Bears did with the smoke screens?
screen?
Yeah, with Trubisky and going out and, thinking that you're going to get Watson, things like that. But, hey, they end up with their quarterback, and now, like you guys said, Mitchell Trubisky, another quarterback competition. Can he win this one?
How about getting drafted and not even having to move team facilities?
That's pretty
Yeah.
cool, too. That's nice.
I'm sure that's happened before where Pittsburgh has drafted a Pitt player, but for a quarterback and that highly regarded of a pick too. It's just interesting. So it looks like actually right now also we are seeing the Chiefs trade up and the Patriots trade back. So we do have the Chiefs leapfrogging the Packers at this point because we're on pick number 21 and the Packers are sitting there at 22. Boy, it sure seems like somebody would be reaching for a wide receiver at this point.
Yeah.
But you do wonder with it being very well known how badly Aaron Rodgers wants a wide receiver, if this move from the Chiefs is for a wide receiver who just traded away Tyreek Hill. We'll have to see what this is. I don't think we actually have the pick in yet, but this could potentially be another wideout or,
Who's available? Let's see. So Sky Moore is the next best available if you're going according to Dane Brugler's The Beast. You have George Pickens, and that was a guy that Daniel Jeremiah had mocked in his final mock draft to the Chiefs at pick number 30. I'm curious to see what this ends up being, you guys.
I mean, could also be a defensive lineman. That's definitely a need for Kansas City. I'm trying to think about who that D lineman would be right now. Is the guy from Florida State still up on there?
Jermaine Johnson? Yeah, Jermaine Johnson's still available. He hasn't been picked yet, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think he is. So, a couple things there. So, we'll see what the pick is. We don't have it in yet, but the Chiefs are on the clock at this point. And I just think that maybe we should go back to let's talk about the Packers then, since they're sitting here on this next pick.
They're on the clock.
And they, technically they're on the clock because the Chiefs have made their pick. We just don't know what the pick is at this point. Regardless, Packers sitting here, this could not have fallen the way, at least the way Aaron Rodgers would want. I don't know about what the GM, Brian Gutekunst, feels, but, all this talk and our fans are probably feeling it here, talking about how this is falling for the Bears with the wide receivers. The Packers are the team that had 2 first-round picks.
Yep.
Very, very not happy with this whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
I want more receivers. Just kidding. Hey, you know what? I'm getting my haircut tomorrow.
That's what. So you're still scheduled. You haven't canceled the appointment. Still
Scheduled.
Oh man.
Yeah. Oh hey, what happened to my lower?
There we go.
Oh, boy,
Chiefs will select according to what is this? My Sports Update will select Trent McDuffie from Washington.
Okay.
Trent McDuffie can play, and that's why the Chiefs trade up to go get him.
So there goes another corner.
Okay, yeah. So we haven't seen a corner get selected since.
Been a while. I think that's the 4th DB so far in the first round.
It was what?
It was all defense to start, and then it turned into this wide receiver draft. McDuffie's been moving up boards, though, lately. 5'11", 193, and was one of those guys that some people were thinking would sneak into the first round. I guess that did happen.
Yeah. He's has position versatility, can play inside, outside, but very fluid. Yeah, the Chiefs get another playmaker in their second, and they need guys like that too.
I'm surprised they traded up though for a cornerback here, and all I see here when I see that is that obviously the Chiefs are missing Ryan Poles because they're making mistakes already in the draft.
There you go.
That's one way to look at it. Yeah, absolutely.
Chiefs putting that down in the notes.
You know what, McDuffie? Let me just clarify something because McDuffie was pretty much. I was actually confusing him with the other Washington corner in Kyler Gordon. He's the one that's kind of been rising up lately to sneak in. But McDuffie's kind of been the one that's been there the whole time. Washington, they pump out a bunch of corners, though, a lot.
Love this graphic.
Seems like for a team that doesn't win a whole lot, quite frankly. Sorry, Olin.
He's listening right now. He can't wait to get into the call once we get.
They didn't make the college football playoff, though.
It's official, guys. Trent McDuffie goes to the Chiefs, as you can see.
All right, so the Packers on the clock here, and I wonder if this is a spot where they almost try to trade back, since all the wide receivers have come off the board. But you also need to have a trade partner.
Yeah.
to come up and make a move like that.
Let's see. The Lions traded with what was it? The
The
Vikings
Minnesota-
traded with the
yeah.
Lions.
No, it ain't happening.
That's not happening.
It's not happening. But will it be the first time they address White out in the first round? I think it's been 20 years since the Packers done that.
I'm saying no. They're planning all along not to get a wide receiver. They're going to go address the offensive line with this pick.
I think they're going to take a quarterback.
Wow.
Yeah, that's happening.
No, they probably will take a corner though. They like to do that a lot in
do.
the first round too, with mixed results.
They got when did they Jair Alexander?
Yeah.
Definitely panned out for him for sure.
There's like 3 other ones that
I think
did
that's
not.
actually McDuffie's pro comp on NFL.com is Jair Alexander
okay.
as well.
There you go.
Yeah, that's right. I thought I saw the names.
Well, let's talk a little bit about what the NFC North has done so far as the Packers sit here on the clock. I think the biggest news makers have been the Lions. They get a problem with Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah, tackle is a huge priority right now for the Bears because I'm already sweating bullets thinking about facing Hutchinson 2 times a year.
Yeah, and then they add the wide receiver as well.
Yeah, the Lions. I mean, those are 2 really good picks for the Lions. And yes, the Lions had to trade up from 32 to where they grabbed Williams at 12.
So with Jameson Williams coming off the ACL, though, we'll have a schedule show coming up here
May 12th, right?
May 12th, and hopefully you get the
Early
Lions
on.
scheduled in September and October.
There you go. Get him
And-
out of the way. Don't face Williams.
Yeah, then you don't have to even deal with Williams next year.
That pick is always interesting too, because when you're looking at his different draft profiles, I just kept seeing deep threat, deep threat specialist, and for Goff, who is not known for his deep ball, it's an interesting pairing right now. Maybe it's the secret weapon that'll unlock it. I just don't see it. But what worries me about Williams is he does have that inside out versatility, and with his elusiveness and crafty route running in the slot right now for a Bears defense that doesn't really have a solid answer for a nickel corner position, a position that's been kind of picked on. Do we have a pick from the Packers, Nick?
It looks like the Packers are going to go defense with this pick, you guys. Georgia Quay Walker.
There he is, Quay Walker, the linebacker.
How many Georgia Bulldogs are going to go in the first round, you guys? That's the third?
Yeah.
I honestly I thought it'd be more at this point, to be honest.
True. That's true. Wow. Okay.
But Quay Walker's obviously a very good linebacker.
We're going defense again, guys?
Yeah, there he is.
What's going
Who the hell am I
on?
throwing to?
That honestly though is hilariously predictable.
Yep.
That's what how many times man, you do a great Aaron Rodgers, but I really want to see what the real Aaron Rodgers reaction is right now. He's probably got some bourbon in his hands.
Yeah, for sure.
And he may have just thrown the glass against that brick wall that we see behind him. Well, not this brick wall, but the one, he always has behind him in
Yes.
his little interviews that he does.
This is a team that's supposed to be ready to win now, right? And you just lost Devonte Adams. And now, not that Quay Walker is he's a good player. He's a really good player. But I just don't get it.
I think they're just jealous looking at Roquan, Georgia linebackers, and we need one of those here on this team. But yeah, I don't get it either because what Green Bay lost was a lot of offensive talent, and
they
they're not
did
recouping
lose,
it.
Valdez Scantling too. I know that he's not the biggest, another deep threat.
Lucas
so
Patrick, they
See,
could have went with a
they've
Linderbaum.
lost, and Luke Etsy. They've
Yeah.
lost a lot in the offense, and yet they address their defense with Quay Walker, which I don't know, man. If you're a Packers fan, I wonder how they're feeling right now.
Well, I see from Lance Zierlein, that round 2 projection. So is this a reach for Green Bay as
Lance,
well?
okay.
They could have maybe had him at the their pick coming up here in a few, but it's interesting that the fact that they went defense, and like Adam said though, it's so predictable.
Yeah, and I see a comment here. Can't believe Jermaine Johnson's still out. Yeah, no, that's a really good point.
Yeah,
I
he's
saw a
been
lot
falling.
of mocks that had him, top 10.
Yeah.
So we're at pick 20 now, going on 23.
Yep, Ravens on the clock at 23 right now after that trade with the Arizona Cardinals for Hollywood Brown. But you see, if you're watch on YouTube right now, you see the newcomers to the NFC North with Aiden Hutchinson, Jameson Williams, Quay Walker, now the linebacker from Georgia, and it was the Lions and the Vikings who traded together. So now the Vikings are going to have a bunch of picks coming up here.
Yep.
Yep.
they have 32, which was the Lions' second pick originally, and then they also have 34.
Right, and they picked up 66
Yeah, 66. Yep.
as well. So
Yes. But they had to give up their second round. Their original second round pick went to the Lions, I believe, in that
So they
deal.
traded their first and a second.
They basically, yes.
The Ravens, by the way, guys. The Ravens. This is
Wow.
going to the Bills.
I think so. I think that's how it works. Some of these trades get confusing.
They
There's
do.
so many.
Speaking
in
of that, the
second.
Bills just traded up with the Ravens, so the Ravens trade
now
down
Baltimore, take you out of the notes and put Buffalo in there.
again. Yep.
Oh man.
Maybe a Tyler Linderbaum.
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there. Your guy, actually, a lot of people thought this would happen. I mean, he's still on the clock here
Yeah.
getting close to the mid-20s here.
You know, if he goes to the Bengals will pick at 31, like the Bengals would take him. I don't think he gets out of the first round, but he is falling, just kind of like how it was projected in these later mock drafts. I think you look early on, it's like, oh, Linderbaum somehow a top 10 will find his way in there, but yeah, he's not. He hasn't been drafted. Jermaine Johnson.
If Pickett can overcome the small hands, Linderbaum can overcome the short
arms, exactly. Yeah.
100%. It's just interesting, though, looking at some of these trades and like how many times these picks have like swapped hands. I was looking at 29 with the Patriots coming up later, and it started with San Francisco. Then it went to Miami. Then it went to Kansas City just a little bit ago, and then now it's to New England here. So it's like we said, it's hard to keep up with all this movement.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and that's why some people laugh at like the amount of trades we were doing in some of these mock drafts.
We
but,
didn't
like,
do enough.
it's how this stuff starts to play out.
I now
So-
understand like why the phone was so busy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. There you go. They kept
Get off the screen. Yeah, so just to clarify on that Lions-Vikings trade, the Vikings sent the 12th pick and the 46th pick. So they moved back in the first to move up in the second, and then also acquired a third is how that worked. So they have the 32nd pick, the 34th pick, and the 66th pick is how that all worked out for the Minnesota Vikings. So they've not made a pick yet, but the Lions ended up landing Jameson Williams in that trade. The Packers, meanwhile, have Quay Walker, and we are moving on with the Bills trading up at this point to number 23 with the Baltimore Ravens.
While we're waiting, Nick, what are your thoughts about Quay Walker? What specific challenges will he present the Bears coming up, even as a rookie?
Yeah, I mean, that dude's super ultra. He does have that sideline to sideline speed. The Bears want to run this outside zone, so it's a guy that I think is going to be patient. And David Montgomery, Khalil Herbert, guys like that, you're going to be watching where Quay Walker's at all times. And who was the linebacker that they signed last year that played really well for them? Blinking on his name, has the dreads, but they have some inside linebackers that can move.
Yeah, and
with an offensive line that's still incomplete for the Bears, it's like now you're getting ultra athletic at that position. It does put extra stress on each of these linemen to hold their blocks and for these running backs to be patient and find the correct lane. So it will present the Bears problems, just like with Hutchinson.
That's
and
what I was going to say. 2 picks for the Bears offensive line there.
Yeah, they're the North has obviously they've gotten better on the defensive side, and add Jameson Williams to that too as well. So no, they've improved. We just thought the Green Bay would just address their offensive needs at this point.
Perhaps they just didn't want to reach for Sky Moore at this point, but they'll wait for 28. We'll see.
Yeah, that's basically what's going to happen.
Still waiting for what this Bills trade is. I also wonder if running back could be in play here. We haven't seen any running backs go. Breece Hall has been the Iowa State running back's been considered a.
It's like the only one out of the first to go in the first round.
Although I wouldn't sleep. I know, but Kenneth Walker, man, that dude is good.
Yeah, he's very good.
But I don't know that I'd be
Devonte Campbell. Thank you for. I completely forgot his name.
Oh,
I appreciate it. Yes.
Packers linebacker.
Yeah, he played really well last season.
Yeah. I don't know if I want to trade up for a running back at this point. Yeah. I'm not totally against taking running backs. You know what I mean? But
trading up, that's.
Trading up to grab one, that's what gets trickier at this point. I think, but we'll see. I'm just kind of throwing out possibilities here for the Bills and why they're trading up here. Actually, it sounds like it is cornerback, Florida cornerback Kaiir Elam.
Oh. Man, that's such a good pick for the Buffalo Bills. That defense, when you have a guy like Micah Hyde in the back there, Kaiir Elam, who's a press man corner, who's going to give you trouble at the line of scrimmage. I really like that pick for Buffalo.
Yeah, I mean, we both like Elam. Like, he's a really good player. He's going to be someone that can be plug and play, instant starter week 1. Tall. He has the prototypical body that you're looking for that outside corner.
And he's like, when we were at his, just podium at the NFL scouting combine, he's like, I want the number 1 wide receiver.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of like the attitude he has. So he's someone that wants to be challenged and is willing to take on that challenge. I think he also runs like a 4.39 at like 6'2", so he can run and be physical with guys too.
David Bakhtiari, the very talented left tackle for the Green Bay Packers, tweeting, love it. Defense wins championships.
Okay.
I wonder what Aaron thinks about that,
Yeah.
honestly.
They're probably not in the same room right now.
May not be for a while.
True.
What do we think the percentage of sarcasm is in that tweet?
That's a great
Sometimes,
yeah.
Twitter's hard to read sometimes. I don't, or maybe I just want it to be sarcasm.
Yeah, honestly.
But you never know. You never know. I'm just throwing it out there. It might not be a fully supportive
It's hard
tweet of Brian Gutekunst. I don't know.
Hey, guys, we got a super chat from Jaxo23 I thought you guys would like to hear. $19.99. Thank you very much, Jaxo.
Appreciate it.
Who will the Bears pick? Because I need someone to compliment Justin Fields. We're trying to figure that out, guys.
So when I first read that, appreciate the super chat. I read it literally the way the word compliment is spelled in there. So I was like,
Oh.
you just need somebody to say something nice about Justin Fields.
Compliment.
We like him.
Yeah.
We like Justin Fields. But yes, I also agree that someone should compliment him on the field to help him out.
Sky Moore? No, I'm kidding.
Sky Moore!
Sky Moore, no. George Pickens is still there, too. It's the thing about
Don't
all the
tell everyone
receivers-
between now and 38. Don't
I
tell
know,
anyone
I
that
know.
George Pickens is
Yeah.
still
The
there.
thing about the receivers that's gone, though, like, not one of them I thought the Bears would have a chance of getting. Like,
Yeah,
that's the
to be
thing.
completely
Like,
honest,
that's
yeah.
the thing. Like, so far, there's no one off the table like a Christian Watson or George Pickens or a Sky Moore or David Bell. Like, there's no one that we've talked about, like, a realistic shot that's gone yet. So there's no reason to panic just yet. We knew there's going to be a run on receivers.
Yeah.
And we'll see. And it's kind of simmered down a bit. And we'll see if it picks back up here towards the end of the first round.
Yep.
I like this comment from Austin here, or this question. If everyone's trading up today, will anyone want to trade up tomorrow with the Bears? If the Bears are looking to trade down, is there going to be any takers?
Maybe for teams that haven't selected a quarterback. Obviously, we've only had one.
Yeah.
So you still have a Malik Willis if he's not going to get selected in. I doubt it, though.
I mean, yeah,
in
he's
the first
going.
round.
He's
He's going in
going.
the first round. But
Just remember that every time a team trades up, with the exception of some of these veteran wide receivers that have been involved in these trades, someone else is trading back and acquiring more picks at that time, and then they can trade back up. So there still could be trade partners, not just because all these trades are moving up. Oh no, there's no more draft capital left to trade. There's still those possibilities. I think it's more about which players are out there. And I want to ask you guys this: are there any players available that you would start to think about or get tempted to jump up here before the night's over if you're the Chicago Bears, if you're a Ryan Poles?
that's a good question, Adam. One guy that, look, I really like it. I think he's my favorite prospect out of, all these guys. And you mentioned him earlier, like a Kyler Gordon. There hasn't been a huge run on cornerbacks yet.
It might be coming here, though.
And they might be coming with the Kyer Elam just going. But I think he's just a plug-and-play starter, opposite of Jalen Johnson, and provides that versatility to play inside. Look, I don't know if you'll move up to go get a guy like that, but he is someone that I really like. And I keep seeing Linderbaum. And we did it, in our mock draft, we said no. And it's just, what does it take to move up to that spot? And what are you going to, give up to get a guy, presumably a starter for the next, you would hope, decade, a guy like that. But those are two guys I'll put out there.
The one that surprises me that's still available right now that I thought may not go out of the top 20 would have been like an Andrew Booth.
Okay, yeah.
And again, I haven't done like a ton of homework on him because I thought he'd be, totally
Just
off
gone,
of the
yeah.
table. But he is still sitting there. I'm not saying the Bears should or I would even trade up for him. I just wanted to note like that is someone that surprises me. But I don't think there is, Adam. Like my answer is no one right now. Like there's no one that is sitting there that I would just say let's go get him. Like he's worth it, especially with the Bears' limited draft capital. I still kind of hold pat here.
Well, we had the hypothetical in our mock draft show that we did yesterday of Tyler Linderbaum starting to fall. And, would you consider trading up, making that move? And we all decided, all right, you know what? Let's keep the draft capital. Not worth it. But then, man, you start to think about the possibilities of what we talk about with Olin all the time is, like, you need to have that one stud on the line. Like, whatever the 5 positions he plays, like that one all-pro player. Mm-hmm. And, it's been interesting to me just how much Linderbaum's fallen back because during the season, that's all people talked about was how he was like the next lock interior offensive lineman, Quentin Nelson comparisons, things like that. I don't necessarily see that same dominance on tape. Like I thought Nelson going where he did was completely justified the entire time. This one, I think, there's probably just been that realization that he's probably not to that level, but still could be a really, really good addition to the Bears, who, as we talk about almost every single show, still have that giant, enormous hole at right guard. And adding Linderbaum, you could slide Patrick over and help your line. So I don't think that's necessarily going to happen, but we are in kind of that territory where we got to start
thinking about
it a little bit and at least being prepared for some different scenarios. Hey, obviously the NFL draft is here. If you're looking to bet on who the Bears will take, head on over to PointsBet, the home of live betting for the NFL draft. PointsBet will price any draft market you want. So download the PointsBet app today. Use code CHGO to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000.
Ooh, we got another pick is in, you guys. Cowboys draft Tulsa offensive tackle Tyler Smith. Going to Dallas. So
he's a Fort Worth native.
Ooh.
Okay.
So another guy who's staying home. Not the college, but at least it's basically the same as Aiden Hutchinson,
Yeah,
sure. Yep.
We have a theme.
It's the theme of the night. It's the theme of the night.
That means Alec. No, never mind. Let me tell you quickly about
say it. Complete that thought.
I don't want to jinx it. Here you go.
Just say it. You were going to say that means Alec Pierce is a lock to be the Bear.
That's exactly
That's what you were going to say.
That's what I was thinking. So,
okay.
Well, I won't be here for that show, but when it happens, you can thank me. Our next partner has a product I use on a daily basis. I started taking Athletic Greens because I wanted to see what the hype was all about. And I've been taking my Athletic Greens after my morning workouts, and I can feel the difference right away. With 1 scoop of Athletic Greens, you are absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source, superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help start your day off right. The mixture of ingredients helps your immune system, gives you energy, and improves your focus, and that's why I take my Athletic Greens to help me get through my busy day. What's awesome about Athletic Greens is that it costs you less than $3 a day, so you're investing in your health, and it's cheaper than that cold brew habit. Also, it helps support better sleep quality and recovery, which we all definitely need. And right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just 1 scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/CHGO Bears. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/CHGO Bears to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutrition insurance.
Olin Kreutz will be joining us when the first round ends. One question we got to make sure we ask him is why he just tweeted an angry GIF when Tyler Smith was drafted.
It's a guy that he really liked.
Yep. Get him in the room, right? Wasn't he one of the guys that he said was, what was the word he used?
He used hostile, agile, and gosh, what was the third adjective?
The hostility was the one.
Yeah, that was essentially it. A guy that he also has position versatility, did play left tackle at Tulsa, but was saying that, hey, if you need him to move in at guard, he could do that. And when he's ready to go back out to tackle, you could do that as well. But maybe that's what Mr. Kruetz is kind of talking about right there in his GIF.
We can ask him soon.
Yes, very soon. Hostile, agile, and hostile.
Mobile?
Probably mobile.
Yeah, something.
Is that from? I think that's from Remember the Titans, where I remember that.
Hostile, mobile, agile.
I've seen that movie way too many times as a kid. Great movie though.
Yeah, I think
it is an outstanding movie.
It is.
Outstanding movie. And I actually screwed up my whole draft routine because I usually watch draft day the night before the draft. And I was getting ready to do it last night, and my speakers went out.
Oh.
Like, I still could have watched the movie. It was the surround sound speakers went out, and I spent the next 3 hours of my night trying to fix them instead of watching the movie when I still could have watched the movie with the regular sound bar. It was a frustrating experience. So if anything goes wrong, it's because of that. Or maybe it goes right. That's a very polarizing movie. People either love it or hate it.
It's not okay.
I
love
like
the
it.
movie, but it's. I guess it's not a good movie. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, I
Why
love
not?
watching it. I just think it's very unrealistic and kind of
Okay.
cheesy. But it's a good movie.
it's
I'll
a
watch
movie.
it.
It's-
I know. I love watching it.
Anybody who says they hate draft day because it's not unrealistic, which Marvel movie do you want me to bring up?
Hey, they're all great.
You know what I mean? Like,
They're all great.
every movie's unrealistic.
Help
They're
me out.
movies.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. I love watching it. I had my girlfriend actually watch it last year. She's like, "Is this what the draft's really like?" I'm like, "No," but it gives you a sense of kind of the logistics of things, I guess. But
Mobile, agile, and hostile. That's
Yes.
what it is.
Adam, but did you actually get those speakers fixed?
yeah, I was wondering that.
Oh, man. Here's the funny thing. I think the answer is yes because they just started working,
Okay.
but I didn't really do anything.
You just like bang a hammer on top of one of the speakers and there it goes.
That's how I fix most of my stuff. I just, if it starts working, I fixed it.
But that almost made it more frustrating because, like, I just wasted 3 hours for nothing.
Yeah.
And, at least I don't know. No one cares. But, yeah. Thanks for asking, though. I appreciate
Well,
it.
honestly, I cared because I was like, we didn't get to the bottom of this. Like, are they still broken or not? But apparently,
But here's the thing. I don't know because they worked until the point I went to bed last night. But I haven't tried to use them since then. And obviously, we're here now. So I have no idea if they're working.
I don't know the layout of your new house, but having young kids with surround sound as a father myself, like that's really impressive.
Oh, yeah.
I'm still stuck with the sound bar. If I go any louder or more surround, like I'm going to be bothering some people.
Oh. But, see, I just think you're droning them out.
Oh, that
another
can
way.
work too.
Ooh, I like that.
When the baby starts to make noises, you're like,
Surround
I
sound.
can still hear what I'm watching. No, it's funny how that works. Obviously, I'm kidding. But when you have a teething baby at home, I recommend surround sound. It makes a difference.
I have a weird thing where if I put like headphones on, like while I'm working, I hear a baby crying, and I take them off, and I don't hear anything. I put them on, I hear.
Oh
it.
yeah. Oh yeah. Yes.
That's strange.
That's a thing. Okay.
It's because you're constantly worried about your kid.
Yeah,
That's what
it's
happened.
really, really interesting. But anyway, there's a draft going on.
No, there
guys.
is, but everything like really has slowed down.
Yeah.
They have.
There's still a 10-minute clock, right?
They
They didn't up it to 20 all of a sudden.
Feels like they may have.
I know.
picking right now.
But let's recap the last few picks because we did have the Packers make their first pick. It was Quay Walker, and Aaron Rodgers was thrilled about it. There's a tweet from David Bakhtiari that may or may not be sarcastic about it, saying defense wins championships. And we are now to the Ravens at number 25, who have moved back to after the Buffalo Bills moved up to get Kyer Elam. So the Ravens are on the clock at this point. And then it'll be the Titans. The Packers have another pick coming up here at 28.
Are they going to finally take a wide receiver?
You think they'd have to go offense at that point?
Defense wins championships.
That's true. David Bakhtiari said it.
He did. Let's see what the Ravens here. Okay, finally the pick is in. And we got nothing so far. That's all right, though.
I don't have anything. The Wi-Fi is not cooperating with
Oh,
me.
no.
no.
The draft just completely broke for you guys.
It did.
Yeah.
The draft doesn't exist unless the Wi-Fi is working so I can keep up with it.
Mark Kasich says, watch, Green Bay is going to take Christian Watson.
Hey, being the same exact colors that he was in North Dakota State.
A lot of people would think that would be a reach, but, we are at this point in the draft where you do see guys that we've talked about as second rounders.
Mm-hmm.
All it takes is one team. That's all I always say. One team likes a guy enough. The Packers would be picking with their second pick. All these wide receivers have come off the board.
Yep. I see trade up Chicago from Brandon. I don't think so, Brandon, but
The one knock on like Watson is like his overall route running still is that not it's not super refined, but he has so much raw talent and he has that great blend of size and speed. If he was a Green Bay Packer, I would be worried about him on the opposite side of us with an Aaron Rodgers throwing him. I just feel like that would be a good combo that I hope does not come to
The Packers do have a lot of draft capital.
Oh, there he goes.
Tyler Linderbaum.
Yep. Ravens. I mean, that fits.
that fits.
Yeah, that fits too.
I have to say something.
Oh.
How is it that the Ravens they just know how to draft?
They just get good players.
Like they ended up with Kyle Hamilton and Tyler Linderbaum.
the two best players at their respective positions.
And arguably, like at one point in the whole draft for a little bit.
Yeah. Like prospect wise, probably if you look at most big boards, like those two
They're
are
up
at
there.
the top.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Kyle Hamilton could have been a top 5 pick.
Should have been.
That's how good he is. They sit pat at 14 as all this chaos is going around them with all these wide receivers, teams trading up, and they're just like going, okay. Cool. We're going to, if Kyle Hamilton got drafted by the Jaguars, they'd be like, oh, they got a good player. But the Ravens drafting Kyle Hamilton, I'm like, they just got a 3-time All-Pro guaranteed.
That's
Like it
what
just
the
seems
Ravens do.
because he's going to Baltimore, and then Tyler Linderbaum to fall all the way to them again. Like even if he doesn't become a Quentin Nelson like offensive lineman, you just know he's going to be good there.
You do know he's going to be good. And again, that's why the Ravens have had, I think, consistent success. They just find players like this in the draft, plug and play.
They've been very good, and I know they're trying to get to that level of great. Honestly, what it comes down to is sticking to your guns, being patient, being willing to move down, and then still drafting best player available.
Yep, and that's exactly what they've done with their first 2 picks. Probably, I think my favorite so far. If you're looking at like draft classes so far, I mean, obviously there's only been a couple teams that have 2 picks, but
And he's a guy that can get downfield, like so when Lamar's moving around a bit and he's going to take off, he can be a good lead
guys, the
blocker
Titans
for him.
just moved their pick here. They're giving it to the Jets.
So the Jets are back up there.
okay. So the Jets have drafted
Wilson.
Garrett Wilson, and then before that they also
Sauce. So they're going to end up
Gardner.
with 3 first-round picks.
We saw the record since 2015, and it wasn't pretty.
not very good. Man,
But that's still, I mean, I want to see what this Jets pick is here, but Sauce Gardner, like him a lot. He also was, I think, gave Olin Kreutz a lesson on what drip actually is with that crazy sauce chain he had.
yeah. That was a very impressive chain.
It was literally
There's
a sauce bottle with the word sauce. So I don't know. That's pretty tough to beat. And then Garrett Wilson going at number 10. That's a pretty good pick. I mean, to add him with Zach Wilson, who I still like, who I still think can put it together there. All of a sudden, the Jets are making some moves here. Now they're moving up here. Don't know the details of the trade, but they're moving up to 26, leapfrogging the Bucs, leapfrogging the Packers here. The Bucs have the 27th pick. The Packers have the 28th pick. So it'll be interesting to see what this is.
We were talking about tweets and if they're sarcastic or not. Lamar Jackson, WTF. I wonder what that's about. After Tyler
Or is
Linderbaum?
it about the trade? Because they got rid of Hollywood Brown?
Oh,
that was 2 minutes ago, though.
Oh.
2 minutes ago, 9:52.
Okay.
Maybe he's watching on a delay.
That's a good delay.
Well, why would he be mad about Tyler Linderbaum?
Right.
Maybe it's like, oh, you traded away my wide receiver, and now you give me.
They
center?
do need more skilled guys. My brother is a huge Ravens fan, and last year they had so many injuries that running back and receivers. Every day during training camp, hey, a new guy tore his ACL. What?
So that's interesting.
Looks like the pick is in for the Jets. It is Florida State edge rusher, who we've talked about falling in this draft, Jermaine Johnson, going to New York. Man, the Jets got themselves some players tonight.
Yeah.
They did, and to get a guy like Jermaine Johnson here, now we're at what?
But he's fallen enough though that you're
26.
like, okay, what's wrong though?
That's true. And what they trade up to go get him. So I wonder. Who knows?
Honestly, it's interesting because they went, offense twice, and then they still decided defense was still a pressing enough need to move back into the first round to get some of that, top talent here in this draft. So that's pretty aggressive. That's conviction.
That is conviction.
Hey, a little super chat for you guys from R4BAce. I don't know. Maybe that's Arabase, perhaps. He says, do the Bulls or Bears make the finals / Super Bowl first? Who do you got?
Man.
We'll be old men.
Yeah,
One way or the other.
I think we know the answer to this.
Bears?
No, it is not the Bears. I'm sorry, guys.
I don't know if
Bears.
the Bulls are like.
Next year, baby.
Finals. I cannot believe you guys.
Go Bulls.
Yeah, this has definitely got to be the Bulls.
But who are they getting next year? Like, I was thinking about like this Bulls roster. Like, they're not getting past Milwaukee. Like, when are they gonna get past Giannis? When DeMar's
Look at
gone?
how much better they got in one offseason. Like,
I know, but they still didn't. We saw what happened. There was one game that they had, and then it was the
It could be
true
completely
Bulls.
different next year.
It could, but I don't know.
No,
I'm not saying the Bears are the answer.
have you seen the Bears roster?
I'm
You do
not-
this
I'm not saying
show,
the
right?
Bears.
You do this show.
I'm not
You know
saying the
this show?
Bears. I'm not convincing the Bulls either.
I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
It didn't ask for it to be next year. It just asked. It could be 40 years from now. Which team makes it first?
Hey, now we have completely different rosters, obviously, with both teams. So, yeah, no, I mean, I take the Bulls, but again, not very convinced. What am I going to say? No hope for sure.
Wow,
I'm a
Nick.
homer. I said
Thanks
Bears.
a lot.
You said Bears? Make the Super Bowl before the
Before
Bulls.
the Bulls. Go to the finals.
Wow.
A lot of Justin Fields.
Hey, if
right there.
the Derrick Rose Bulls, like back in like 2010, 2011, couldn't make the finals, like there's some, it's going to take a
Well,
lot.
his knee fell off.
No, before that, MVP season.
No,
Yeah, but that was like their rival season. They weren't ready to make the full run at that
I mean, it
point.
was-
And plus, they were competing against the Heat, the
Heat
super
were-
team.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Are the Bulls ever going to become a super team?
I don't know.
I don't know.
In Arturis, I trust.
I'll tell you what you should do is just keep watching the CHGO Bulls podcast all summer long.
They'll let
where
us know.
They'll
Yes.
definitely be, Summer Peck and his lack of a
I
mustache.
can't believe the mustache is gone. It was like just seeing
That
him
was
without the
stunning. I was not
mustache.
ready for that.
That was, wow. It was shocking.
More shocking than half these trades tonight.
I'll be
Yeah.
honest. He's my inspiration for getting the haircut.
Oh,
I saw him mow that thing off last night, and I'm like, you know what? If he can do it, I gotta get in my summer flow. I gotta.
We're
give
going to
up
miss
the-
you, though, Aaron.
I know it's a
It's
shame.
not going to be
really.
the same.
I know. Sorry.
All right, well, we got the Bucks on the clock here. And then the Packers will have another pick.
Ooh, another defensive player.
There's been a lot of trades here.
yep.
Looks like we're trading again. The Bucks
Jaguars
are going to the
moving up.
Jags.
So we do have a trade. We have an all-Florida trade here as the Jacksonville Jaguars are moving up to take the Buccaneers pick at number 27. Some players still available, by the way. N'Kobe Dean, the linebacker from Georgia, who many thought would go before Quay Walker. The Packers took Quay Walker. He's still available. You have Andrew Booth from Clemson, the corner. Offensive line, Bernard Raymond from Central Michigan still available.
Hey.
By the way, only one quarterback. Like sometimes when one quarterback goes,
Usually there's trickle-down effect.
but at this point, Malik Willis from Liberty still available.
Interesting.
Which
Wonder where he ends up now.
I'm not necessarily surprised by that based on like what he is as a player. I'm just more surprised because of what we see every year at the quarterback position with the NFL teams. Like that's you usually see a little bit more urgency to take these guys, a lot of times overdrafting them. But
Not the case right now.
not the case this year. So the weak draft class is kind of for quarterbacks is kind of coming to fruition.
Yeah.
With the exception of Kenny Pickett going to Pittsburgh and poor Mitch Trubisky.
That's what it all
Got another
comes back
super
to.
chat. Smuds, over under 6 wins for the Bears this season. Nick, you go first.
Over 6. I'll say over 6. I can see him winning 7
Obviously,
games.
you're saying they're going to go to the Super Bowl next year based
No,
on your
no. I
previous
never
answer.
said that. No, I never said that.
Nick said that.
I did not.
Yeah, we all heard it. We all heard
We
it.
can go. Let's rewind the tape. Rewind the tape.
Nope.
Do we have that capability?
No, we
probably
don't.
not live.
Not right now.
No.
But I'm hammering the over, by the way, on that. For over the 6.
Hammering it.
You heard me. I don't think it's an under 6 win team.
Okay, I agree with you guys. I don't know that I feel very confident about it. What was that noise?
Hammering it in.
Oh,
That was a hammer.
okay.
Yeah.
Ugh,
guess that's
I'm
it.
wearing an IU shirt. I'm doing like a Purdue Pete little hammering. I'm done. Can't do that ever again.
I thought somebody was like breaking in here for a second.
That happens in round 3.
I do agree with you. Mainly because, and I've said this a few times, like I think the schedule gets easier.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I think the offense has to take a step forward because how could it just be worse? Despite all the questions we talk about every single day and who the wide receivers are, who the offensive linemen are, I just don't know how it could be worse. And then the one thing I did start to question with our OTAs access or our mini camp access last week, I just start to wonder if the defense might actually take a bigger step back than I thought, even though they hired a defensive head coach. Just might be underestimating the
lack of talent on that side.
just there's more holes than you might think right away, and this is a transition. They are changing the defense.
Right.
Now, the one thing that could offset that I do think will go up a little bit are the takeaways.
Yes. Yep.
And that's where I'm just sort of on the fence where, is this team worse than last year's team? I don't necessarily think so. I'm also just not sure they're better. So if I have to pick between the over-under on 6 wins, I'm probably going to go over just because the schedule's easier.
Mm-hmm. The schedule, and then even though the talent may be less, and it's hard to say it's better when you lose a Khalil Mack. Like, that's still something that I toy with, but I believe the coaching staff is going to get this team, playing at a much higher level of intensity and focus, and they're buying into it, it seems like. And I know you guys were there, and I have a little bit more of an outside perspective. But as long as they're believing in what the Bears are building, I think good things will follow that. Whereas last year, I think everyone kind of knew what was kind of like written on the wall, and not that they checked in or anything, but like when you have the same game plan week in, week out, and you're not trying to like go after opponents and you're just trying to do your own thing, like I would just be so frustrated and just like, I'm over it.
Well, Ben's place in the comments here had a really, I think, a valid point because he said Justin Fields should give you 6 wins. If we're thinking Justin Fields is going to take this step in year 2, and I know
that's fair though. That's a fair point.
And like, even though the offense is not set with the offensive line, we don't know the weapons that he has around him. Fields can still take a jump himself. And is he worth those 6 wins? Just even in year 2.
Which, I mean, maybe you remember the rant I had like that one day. It was almost like a month and a half ago, it feels like. But like, if you're sitting here thinking the Bears should tank and just be an awful team and try to get a top 5 pick, you must not believe in the quarterback.
Exactly, yeah.
Because we all know how this league works, and if he takes the step forward that we all think he will,
those are wins there.
With an easier schedule, I don't see how they're in position to
get less than those 6.
The only way I guess what I'm trying to say is the only way I see they're in a position to get like a top pick like that is if he just doesn't take that step that we all think. So we do have another
for the Jags.
Yep, Jacksonville Jaguars who traded up.
Devin Lloyd,
the linebacker from Utah. I love that Utah uniform, by the way.
It's pretty sweet.
It's well, they got a good linebacker. Devin Lloyd's
it's not Nakobe Dean, that's for sure.
What did you say?
It's not Nakobe Dean.
It's not Nakobe Dean.
Still available.
Yeah.
Green Bay's on the clock.
And they go linebacker.
Then I want to see David Bakhtiari's tweeting then. What if he just tweets, never mind? Disregard the last tweet. I still want to know what Lamar Jackson's tweet's all about.
Yeah.
The WTF. I get it if he's talking about Hollywood Brown, but
it was only like, it was right after
2
the
minutes.
Linderbaum pick.
Yeah,
It was like 2 minutes after. So that feels connected. Unless he was like me and had bad Wi-Fi, and then a tweet got,
it finally tweeted
and then it
out.
finally went through at the wrong time. But
so they turned Hollywood Brown into Tyler Linderbaum and more picks because they traded back.
right.
Like they went to number 23 and then they traded back to 25 with Buffalo and then they still got Tyler Linderbaum.
Ravens.
For as good as they draft, though, the Ravens, they should have more Super Bowls.
They should.
Someone said that in the chat.
Yeah, someone said that in the
Yeah.
comment. No, very valid. It's not.
It comes down to the quarterback. Joe Flacco wasn't going to give you.
He was elite. Just kidding.
Well, and that's also funny that their 2 Super Bowls are with Joe Flacco and
Trent.
Dilfer?
Dilfer? No.
Is it? What? Trent?
No.
What?
Vinny Testaverde?
Is that
Talking
Who
about
was
like
it?
the year 2000?
yeah.
Yeah.
In
2000,
the year 2000.
The defense won that Super Bowl,
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah,
Like,
I know. No, it was Trent Dilfer.
Yeah, Trent Dilfer.
It was Trent. It was
Come on,
Trent.
Nick.
I don't know
That's
why.
what I said.
Let's go,
Well,
Nick.
is it
Then you
Dilfer?
got it.
I was second guessing
They
myself.
actually emphasized the point, though.
Yeah, true.
That was
Like, Trent,
unintentionally
Trent.
emphasized what I was trying to get at there. But yeah. And someone brings up they killed themselves with that huge Flacco contract, which is fair.
Mm-hmm.
So the Packers are back on the clock. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 picks here left in the first round.
the
Olin
pick is
Kreutz will
in.
join us after that. And the Minnesota Vikings will have pick number 32 now instead of the Lions because of that trade earlier.
Man, what is Green Bay doing here?
What are they doing? The pick is in. So like
The Green Bay Packers pick is in.
they're holding pat and they're making it. they're
The
making it
prodigy is saying, please don't pick George Pickens.
Oh, boy. Well, we're about to find out in the next.
Well, do they reach for a wide receiver here? Their next pick, I just looked this up, it's not till the 50s, but they do have I want to say 53 and 58 coming up here. Well, not coming up here, but in the second round. They do have 2 second-round picks, but there's a big gap between where they are now. And if we saw all these wide receivers come off the board, you got to think there's going to be another run on wide receivers in the second round at some point.
Yep.
Another defensive player, guys, for
Get
the
outta here.
Packers.
No
Get outta
way.
here.
Devonte Wyatt. Man, Aaron Rodgers.
I can see
What?
Wow. Holy.
Are you for
Let's go
real?
live to Aaron right now.
Yo, I'm going to just have to slam my beer for this.
He's just gonna retweet Lamar right now.
Yeah, what the?
He's
Yeah,
so
retweet
angry he
Lamar.
might actually go
Yeah.
get vaccinated.
No, but okay,
Oh.
so Devonte Wyatt's a problem.
I am immunized.
He's a huge problem. Like
That's a fair
the
point.
front seven that Green Bay's gonna have, that is a problem for the Bears. But it should have been an offensive player, guys. It really should have been an offensive player. But hey, now you have Hutchinson in Detroit. You have a bunch of good players in Green Bay. Rashawn Gary, Wyatt, Kenny Clark. Their linebacker that they just got. Like they have some defensive players, you guys. So I know Bakhtiari. We don't know again how the tweet is supposed to come off. It's sarcastic, but defense wins championships. They're putting together a really good defense in Green Bay, but now
Another Georgia Bulldog gone.
another Georgia Bulldog gone, and no wide receivers taken for the Packers. Interesting.
That is just.
We're gonna have to
I mean, I get it. They really are building a really good defense. Mm-hmm. But the story is Aaron Rodgers there. It always is. And for all these decisions that Brian Gutekunst continually makes, it's not like he's doing a horrible job. The Jordan Love pick was not a good one.
Right.
No.
Because, unless you're going to sit here and make the argument that it drove Aaron Rodgers to – because Rodgers did get better after they drafted Love.
Yeah,
And that is part of the equation. That doesn't make the pick better. But so you go back to all the offensive skill positions. They don't ever draft them. And they took Jordan Love. Now they're going more defense. It's just it's hard not to laugh at it. And even if it turns out to be
A good pick,
like the
yeah.
best defense in the league, it's just with how much Aaron Rodgers matters up there, it's crazy.
Let me put a hypothetical out here real quickly.
Okay.
So they've relied on Aaron Rodgers for so long, and they got one Super Bowl out of it, right? And he's been back-to-back MVPs. You see both these picks going towards the defensive side of the ball. Does this signal like, hey, we want to, utilize our defense, run the ball, and then we still have an MVP quarterback, so we don't have to put everything on you. So we're trying to make it. It's going to sound weird, easier for Rodgers because you have the whole team element being more of a focal point in Green Bay. I don't know if
I can see what you mean by having like a more
complete team, maybe?
Both sides of the ball being a little bit more well-rounded. However, like not having anyone to throw to is gonna be tough.
Yeah.
But I can also see Green Bay just saying, "Hey, we have a MVP caliber quarterback, and he's supposed to elevate these guys around him. So we can wait until later on in this draft, which we know is a deep class,
True.
and still pick up some guys that'll be difference makers here for this offense, and they can play a little bit more. I call it like small ball,
Complimentary football or two, I guess. But
yeah.
look, I'm just trying to rationalize what they're doing here.
don't
I don't know
have
if
to. You don't
that's
have to.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, there is some rationalization to it. And, it's interesting. You talk about Eric Stokes, their first-round pick last year. That's 3 Bulldogs.
Wow, yeah, they love Georgia.
So they obviously like their Georgia Bulldogs. I don't know if you guys have noticed. They happen to be a very good college football
Georgia
team.
good.
Yeah.
Georgia very
So
good.
maybe not the worst strategy to, I don't know. The Bears keep going after their wide receivers. That hasn't worked out as much. But on that defense, hey, a lot of good players there. Also, our friend Courtney Cronin tweeting, I found this interesting. The Jaguars trade with the Bucks was the 9th draft day trade tonight. That's the most in a first round since the draft expanded to 3 days in 2010. There were only 3 draft day trades in the first round last year.
Wow.
Okay.
So, and what's interesting to me about that too is I don't think we got our first trade until number 11.
Yeah, it took a while.
Everything in the top 10 had been done before tonight. So it's really all these, it's almost been half the picks since we got to number 10 tonight have been traded in some form. So it's been quite crazy since you got out of your top 10 tonight. And the Green Bay Packers have drafted 2 Georgia Bulldogs in Quay Walker and Devonte Wyatt.
Bears offensive line.
You need to load up.
Especially at guard.
So
I don't know what a super sticker is, but we just got one from Corey. It's a Shiba dog saying good job while raising his thumb up. I assume that looks cooler in the YouTube than on our screen here, but thank you, Corey.
Oh, is the sticker like probably the thumb up then? Because I like how it just says, wow, raising his thumb up.
Thumb up. Cool. Super chats, super stickers.
super sticker. I like that.
We can like print them off and just, like stick them on the set or something.
Hey, if you're liking the show tonight, make sure you hit that like button. We appreciate you. Hit subscribe, notifications.
Will, you were just kind of referencing what Shaggy here said, Bryce Suter. Yeah, between Lions picks and Packers picks, Bears definitely need to get some O-line. Yeah,
They really, really do.
It's a great point. There's some real players in this division, and they're getting added quickly. We will have Olin Kreutz join us as soon as this first round is over. There is another Vikings pick coming up here in a few. Aaron says the Packers were dead last in run defense last year. It's been bad for years, so tonight makes sense in that context. Absolutely.
Good point. Yeah.
'Cause their defense has been getting better, but it's been far from perfect.
Right.
Yeah. You know what? Gonna take a second break from all this draft talk, and I'm gonna ask you guys a question. Everybody here in the studio too. Do you want to start maybe your night off with a competitive edge because we're doing the draft at night?
Late night show?
Yep.
I could, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, here's how you can do that, you guys. Our next partner is all right. We're gonna take a second break here, you guys. I have Athletic Greens pasted in here twice.
Oh, no.
So
Oh,
now I need to go find.
Who are we looking for?
They're good enough to be pasted twice.
That is true.
I'll give them that.
That is true. So
Are we looking for Strava coffee? Is that what we're looking for?
Yes.
We're
That's
looking for
Strava, baby.
Strava coffee.
Yeah, we
Go
are.
get that Strava coffee,
Oh,
Reed.
yeah.
I know you love it, Nick. Come on.
I'm just gonna go find that real quick, and that's what happens on live shows. Which we
Well,
do
Hey,
every
while
single
while
day.
we're,
See-
while
you
we're
see what-
doing that,
You know what's clearly happened though here
Yeah, 2
is that
beers
he
and-
didn't take his Strava.
That's
He didn't have his Strava coffee. He didn't get his
I
competitive
took my Athletic
edge,
Greens though.
and he's not on top of it.
I took my
while,
Athletic.
while we're
Greens.
waiting for that, Avery is like, can we get a live Aaron Rodgers producer Lawrence reaction to the no wide receiver drafted to Green Bay so far? What the F? How about that? I'm angry and immunized. Boo.
That's true. Just both are accurate, I think, depending on what your definition of some of those words are.
Immunized.
Someone get this guy a cup of coffee for the
Yeah,
love
seriously,
of God.
like, I
Someone
don't know
get this guy,
where-
and then we don't even need the read. He can just drink it here in
I
front of
could.
everybody.
That would be great.
And satisfy our friends.
CBD
It's-
infused. It tastes great. All the health benefits.
You'd think at this
Exactly.
point he could do it off the top of his head.
You would think, but I
Olin's
haven't had
getting
my
all the
coffee.
reads on Monday.
I would like that because clearly I can't
You're
do them
forfeiting all of them. So that's all right.
Let's just recap who we've seen in the
Thank you,
NFC North there.
Aaron.
anymore. Oh yeah.
Go ahead and recap. Yeah.
All right.
All right, so so let's get used to these guys that the Bears will be facing. Edge rusher Aiden Hutchinson and Jameson Williams, the wide receiver from Alabama, go to the Lions. And for the Packers, no wide receivers, but Quay Walker, the linebacker from Georgia, and Devonte Wyatt, the D tackle, also from Georgia.
Made in Georgia.
Made in Georgia.
Nick, you're on the clock.
I have it, you guys. Thank you,
Yay.
Joey, over there. So to go back to that question, you want to start your day off with a competitive edge? Strava CBD coffee is a game changer. It's helped thousands of people to improve their overall wellness and quality of life. Strava delivers delicious, fresh roasted specialty coffee infused with organic broad spectrum CBD. And CBD from hemp doesn't get you high or hungry, but it does offer real benefits that can help you, like making you feel alert and without the jitters, and you can live your day more balanced with less anxiety and fewer aches and pains. Plus, including CBD in your daily routine can even help you enjoy more restful sleep so you wake up feeling at your best. And the best part, Strava is all about quality. Everything is small batch, fresh, and shipped straight to your door. Strava also offers concentrated full-spectrum CBD tinctures for those looking for a more traditional CBD format with a powerful entourage effect of benefits. And here's the most important part. CHGO listeners can save 25% off their entire purchase when you use code CHGO25. That's 25% off your entire order at StravaCraftCoffee.com when you use code CHGO25 at checkout. Discount coupon valid on non-subscription purchases, only one use per customer. And if you already love Strava, you can subscribe and save with the Strava Coffee Club. With Strava, you're in control. Save on your favorite coffees and have them automatically delivered to your home or office on your preferred schedule.
Well worth the wait, Nick.
Oh, yeah. I don't know how. Well, I shouldn't have as many Google Docs as I do, but
I understand.
They're everywhere.
And I also want to ask people, like, if you're not,
Google.
if you're not a member of like CHGO by now, like it's been over 2 months, like I really don't know what you're waiting for. Like it's such a tremendous value. I think I mentioned last time it's like 75% off the cost of Netflix per month if you do the annual membership, and you have so many great benefits like getting a free T-shirt, like Nick and Adam are wearing right now. I'll get mine one day here at CHGO to kind of represent here on the show. On top of that, too, by becoming a member, you unlock all of our great articles that we come up not just on the Bears but on all the teams in Chicago that are amazing Rockstar staff covers. So if you're a fan of the other teams, you get even a little bit more value at that as well. And what I really love about becoming a member is that you really do help support like local journalists, like all of us here on CHGO, and I think that is very important in today's day and age. So again, you get a free T-shirt. Are we going to toss the phone here live?
We're just gonna give it to you, Joey. There you go.
There we go. We can do this.
I mean, Joey, get out there for a second.
Yeah.
Look at those. Show that jersey.
Yeah, we got to
that
show
you're
his
wearing.
jersey.
I mean,
because
that's beautiful.
Hey, Bears Nation.
Yeah.
Show him the back of the jersey.
Oh yeah.
It's the Dorson jersey.
That's OG. That's from his dad's
is
closet.
OG.
That's beautiful. Thank you, Joey.
Lawrence insults me, though, because he tried to – he didn't think I would even know who Dave Dorson is.
Well, that receiver from, the Georgia, his dad, you didn't know him.
We're never gonna get that.
And I think he played after Dave Dorson, so I just thought.
Which one played for the Cincinnati Bengals and which one played for the Bears?
Good question. Speaking of draft picks that have happened, the Patriots, I believe, have taken Cole Strange off the board.
Oh,
Wow,
Strange
we jumped
pick.
into the first.
Strange.
It is a strange pick. Are we still in the middle of that Strava read? Because it'd be strange if I was talking about other
I was
picks while you're
actually
still.
letting
No, we've
people know,
moved on to the
Okay.
glorious place called
All right.
CHGO.
So the Chiefs are on the clock. I believe their pick is in. We don't know who it is yet.
I
but,
actually know who it is.
Oh, well, let's break some news for me.
It is Purdue defensive end George Karlaftis.
All right, Big Ten.
My second favorite Purdue Boilermaker in the draft, obviously, behind David Bell. No, really good player, and he goes to Kansas City. So they get they go defense also.
Yes,
so they end
they
up with
did.
Trent McDuffie, the corner, and they also had Karlaftis at number 30. So another team that you could say, hey, they need a wide receiver. They got a lot of good players on that offense. They also have Patrick Mahomes. But like the Packers, the two teams that have traded big wide receivers in this offseason,
Don't replace them yet.
they go defense with 2 first-round picks.
Is that a testament to the depth of the receiver class this year?
Well, I do think we obviously saw a run on those early.
Right.
And where the cutoff point was kind of where people thought it would be.
Sky Moore.
Sky Moore, your guy. Yes. And now there's been a big break on wide receivers.
I wonder
You're
why.
like, we're not touching Sky Moore in the
everyone
first.
saw that mock draft yesterday. They're like, nope.
I'm telling you, after that yesterday, though, Sky Moore is destined for greatness.
I hope so.
I hope so. But I feel really,
For the Green Bay Packers in the second
the
round.
fact that Cole Strange went 29th overall, though, like this is a kid that just rocketed up draft boards. Pre-Senior Bowl, he was like looked at like a 4th-round pick. Moved into fringe 3rd round after a good showing there. Combine took another step to like, hey, he's a 2nd-round guy. And Bill Belichick and the Patriots said, nah, we're gonna take him in the 1st.
They know. Well,
Olin's mad about this one with his strong gift game. He did the Jim Carrey "Oh Come On" gif from Liar Liar.
Oh, there we go. Yep,
You guys seen Liar Liar?
I have.
When I was like,
Yeah, it's been
Okay.
it's
really
been a while.
young.
Just making sure.
It's been a little bit.
Yeah. So we'll have to get his thoughts on that one. And now the Kansas City Chiefs, they're just tweeting late now. They are at the point where we're now at the point where the teams are tweeting they're on the clock after the picks have already been announced by reporters. That part of the draft.
So what we got 2 picks.
we got Cincinnati and Minnesota.
Wow, flew by.
Oh my goodness, we're almost at Olin time.
Almost at Olin time.
Travis Kirkian says Sky Moore is going to be like Steve Smith Jr.
Ooh.
Okay.
I see, the sky's the limit quote from Benny G, and I want more of that.
Is Briskers.
I think we should go ahead and bring in Olin whenever he's ready at this point, to be honest with you. So we'll get Olin on here quickly. A couple more picks left with the Bengals on the clock and then the Vikings, and then we will be done for the night. Not here on the show because we are going to look at
everything that happened.
we're going to get Olin's thoughts on everything that's happened, and we're also going to break down who's still available for the Bears once we get through these last few picks. Because at this point, what are we, 9 picks away from the Bears pick?
Yeah.
We're good.
30,
Yeah.
30,
Yep.
39.
We're 9 picks away
Single
from the
digits.
Bears.
Oh
It won't
my
be
gosh.
until, almost 24 hours from now, but
yeah.
but we are still getting there.
It's exciting. It's exciting, especially as we kind of recap who's actually still available and try to determine the other teams in front of them. What are they going to do? Maybe the Bears I think they're in a position to get some good players still, obviously. And this draft is pretty good in terms of that 2nd, 3rd round. So the Bears are in a good spot, but we'll see what they end up doing, and we'll see first what these last 2 picks are in the 1st round.
I see from Bears Talk Underground are wondering where we ended up getting that food because we tweeted it out earlier this evening, late afternoon, and it was Portillo's.
Oh, yeah. We are ready here. We got the Portillos.
We had candy earlier.
Expired candy?
We had expired candy that
Poison candy?
my wife tried to poison me, apparently. She knows I like Skittles, and it was my birthday last week, and she gave me a big, giant bag of Skittles. I started eating the Skittles today. I brought them in for you guys. I was trying to be nice. I knew you were bringing in some candy because you told me. The excellent Starburst jelly beans.
So good.
You got to go jelly. If you're going to jelly bean, you have to go Starburst jelly beans. Those are really the only ones that should exist. There are some really awful tasting jelly beans if you eat the wrong ones.
Have
Jelly
you ever tried
bells?
the Harry Potter ones? Have you ever tried
What?
the Harry Potter jelly
No.
beans? Don't. Like there's earwax. There's like these exotic, crazy flavors that you don't want in a jelly bean.
How's that legal?
Yeah, no,
That's like Fear Factor-esque.
it is like
Daxton Hill to the Bengals. Daxton Hill from Michigan.
Okay.
Okay.
There it is. Bengals take Daxton Hill. And now the Vikings would be on the
One
clock
pick away
finally
from Olin
on the
time.
clock
of the
'cause
night.
they've been trading the entire night.
They made one trade.
I feel like they've traded forever. I feel like
It
everyone's
was
traded.
forever ago.
Yeah. So
Adam, I have a question for you, though. Like, obviously, the Bears tonight, they're going to kind of reassess their draft boards, and we'll have that conversation soon. But, like, with them picking at 39, like, do you think they have, like, a lot of work in front of them, or do you think it's kind of like what they expected and they're feeling confident and they don't have to have a late night at House Hall or wherever they're stationed?
Wait, are you asking me if they're happy with how this has played out?
And just in general, like how much work, like readjusting of the draft board, do you think they would have to do? Like how it's gone so far?
I mean, here's the thing: as we sit here, I don't know that there's been any major surprises.
Mm-hmm.
wait, what? What are people tweeting?
Yeah, I know. Is that real? There's some people that are currently in the comments talking about the Bears being on the board and trading up. But is that
Don't mess
real?
with me. I
I
would
think
have to.
people are just trying to mess
I
with
think
you.
so.
Oh.
I also am hearing Ben's play saying Malik Willis to the Vikings. How fun would that be?
Ooh, just had a mini heart attack.
You do wonder if the Vikings will take another swing at quarterback with their new general manager, new head coach situation. And that last pick of the first round, you sometimes see quarterbacks go there because you get access to that the 5th year option with the first round picks. So if you're the Vikings, you're looking at the quarterbacks and you're going, yeah, we probably should take one, but we don't need to take one as high as they were because they were, number 12, I think they were when they traded back. So they go back to number 32, and they might be sitting there going, well, we'll let one of these quarterbacks fall to us at this point. So I could see that happening.
Yeah.
I don't know if it will, but I could see it happening.
So Aaron Rodgers is on the Pat McAfee show right now. Ooh. And he said Rodgers on O-linemen and wide receivers. You can find guys in the 2nd, 4th, and 5th, and 6th rounds that can play.
It's any round besides round 1.
Wait a minute.
And
Wait a
round
minute,
7,
though.
apparently.
How is Aaron Rodgers on the Pat McAfee show when he's on the CHGO Draft Day Live special at the same time?
That is a little strange.
I don't even know how that's possible, quite frankly.
Now, the Vikings are on the clock, but we do have a guest that's calling in. Do you want me to bring him in?
Yeah, we can bring Olin in.
Let's do it. What do you
Olin's
say?
live reaction. The point I was trying to make earlier, because I know there's been some surprising trades and stuff, my point was, as the draft board sits, in terms of the actual players who were drafted, yes, it was surprising, like the Lions went up and made that trade, but they drafted somebody who was going to get taken in the first round. So my point is, of the players left, it's kind of where we thought it would be.
Okay.
That makes sense.
They can sleep easy tonight.
But Olin is here. Olin, we've seen some gifs from you on Twitter when the offensive linemen have been drafted. You upset some of these guys came off the board and are not going to Chicago? Is that what's going on?
I was a fan of Tyler Smith, as you guys know. I liked his feet. I liked his play strength. Obviously, he needed work with his hands. But when he went to the Cowboys, put him next to Zach Martin, I think he'll learn a lot from him. So obviously, a lot of these linemen are going a little earlier than we thought. Cole Strange goes to the Patriots. Some people hoped he would drop, but you just hope that when the Bears came up, some of these guys would still be on the board so they could get to some linemen. As we all know, everybody says for years, we got to fix the offensive line. But then when you guys do mock drafts, you all take receivers and DBs and safeties and D linemen. So that way you can keep continuously complaining about the offensive line, right? But we're just hoping that draft was going to thin out. But as we know, and Ryan Poe said as much at the podium, that this draft is pretty deep in offensive linemen, and there will be guys there. And you never know what Ryan Poles wants to do. I heard Adam talking about how he had that mock draft where he made a bunch of trade backs, get more picks. It sounded like Poles, that's something that Ryan Poles wants to do. We all know that the Chicago Bears need bodies, right? They don't have a lot of bodies on their team. They have a lot of holes to fill. Then just another part of this draft that I just smile watching is the Green Bay Packers. They didn't want to get Aaron Rodgers any help, I guess. So they get a linebacker. That D lineman was a guy I thought would be a sneaky pick for the Bears later. A 3 technique, the kind of guy they needed. Now that Ogunjobi didn't pass his physical, I don't think that we can all say that Justin Jones is a starting 3 technique in the NFL. So a lot of guys to look at coming up in the 2nd and 3rd rounds. Very interesting first round of the NFL draft that we just watched. I thought the Lions did a nice job getting themselves some difference makers. Aiden Hutchinson is going to be a problem for whoever plays left tackle for the Chicago Bears.
Olin, so the Green Bay Packers, they do go both those defensive picks, and we were kind of making fun of David Bakhtiari's tweet saying, love it, defense wins championships. With the strategy that the Green Bay Packers had, like what are your just initial thoughts of that and how that impacts Aaron Rodgers moving forward?
Well, when you look at their roster, it's really strong, right? They got the MVP of the league in Aaron Rodgers. The guy David Bakhtiari that you just talked about didn't play all last year. He wasn't in the playoffs the year before. You could make an argument that the Green Bay Packers at least make it to the Super Bowl if Bakhtiari doesn't blow his ACL. Really, it was Jason Pierre-Paul who dominated the game in that NFC Championship game the Tampa Bay Buccaneers pass rush did. If you have one of the best left tackles in the league, that changes that game. So the Packers roster is still extremely strong. They went and got themselves a linebacker. They went and got themselves an interior defense lineman. Look, the Chicago Bears signed Lucas Patrick. They have Cody Whitehair, but that's Kenny Clark. And now this guy Wyatt is lining up at defensive tackle with Kenny Clark, with Rashawn Gary on the outside and Preston Smith on the other side. That's a problem. That's a problem for whoever lines up there at offensive line for the Chicago Bears. When you look at just our division, if the Green Bay Packers get Bakhtiari back at full strength, they have one of the better offensive lines in the NFL. They still have Aaron Rodgers, and he'll make receivers better than they are. But you would think eventually they got to get this guy some help at wide receiver, especially after trading away Devonte Adams.
One quick update, because we do have our last pick of the night, the Minnesota Vikings, making it at number 32, and it's fitting to end the night with another Georgia defensive player, safety Lewis Cine, coming off the board and going to the Minnesota Vikings there. So they also go defense with their last pick of the night. So it's not a quarterback. It is a safety, and that's who the Vikings end up with. They will also pick early tomorrow with the 34th pick that they got back from the Lions in that trade back, which would be a good way to go with you, Olin, right here. What did you think about that? The Lions making a big splash with wide receiver, too, and Jameson Williams, who's obviously hurt. But, man, if he was healthy, probably the first wide receiver off the board.
Yeah, probably the first wide receiver off the board. Very dangerous wide receiver, and you're thinking it's a pick. They're just looking at their future. Get this guy healthy, get him back playing at a high level, and you got a dangerous wide receiver for years. You match him with T.J. Hockenson in the middle of the field, Swift at running back. They got some weapons now there. The Detroit Lions do. They took Penei Sewell last year. Their offensive line looks pretty damn solid when you look at that offensive line up front. I think their guard's name from Ohio State, they took a couple years back, Jonah Jackson, I think is his name. Very good football player. He's developed for them. So this Lions team looks like they're getting better. We always say the Lions are going to lion, though. So we'll see. They got to show us, even though they have all these guys, that they can win football games. They still got Jared Goff at quarterback. Dan Campbell, clipping people's knees out. All the things the Lions normally do are still there. So we'll see. We'll see as they move on. But they seem like they got two very good football players there. Obviously, the Chicago Bears, you're always looking at how do they match up in the NFC North with these other teams. They're looking up at least the Green Bay Packers, as we know, and we're hoping these other teams don't gain ground on them during this draft and developing a lot of good young football players. As we all know, the Chicago Bears need to do. Ryan Post said on the podium as much. We got to develop homegrown talent.
Well, Olin, I'm just wondering now, first round's done. The Bears will be on the clock in 7 picks, right, at 39. Yes. What is there a position that you're kind of looking at that's still available that's like, hey, the Bears can go here and get a good player? Like, just kind of what are your thoughts as we're now heading, and we will eventually head to day 2 of the draft?
As we know, man, the second and third round, you can get a lot of good football players, right? You get a lot of Pro Bowlers end up there. Say 2003, the Chicago Bears took Peanut Tillman and Lance Briggs back to back. 2 pretty good damn football players there. So here we are in the second round of draft. Ryan Poe's era is about to kick off. It's about to begin. We're all cheering for him, man. We need good football players in that building. They need Pro Bowlers. You need to get guys in that building, in Eberflus' system, in Luke Getsy's system, and develop these guys immediately. I'm looking at the offensive linemen all the time. You got the 2 Central Michigan guys, Rahman and Getke. You got Nicholas Petit-Frere from Ohio State. These are some guys you're looking at. But it falls, guys, as you see with these names, almost what Ryan Poles is talking about. Maybe we trade back. We get ourselves a 4th-round pick somewhere in there, so we're not waiting 77 picks after our 3rd pick for our 5th-round pick. So they need bodies. They need guys. We'll see what they do coming up here. But as you guys know, you guys study the draft way more than I do. All you guys mock drafts? There is tons of good football players left on these boards, ready to develop, ready to put in that Hallis Hall and get them going.
Let me ask you about a couple of them, because one guy we haven't asked you a ton about, but he came up on the show the other day, is Minnesota's Daniel Lele. Obviously, he's enormous.
I just don't think, Adam, I don't think he fits what they're going to try to do. You know what I mean? I think he's a good football player. I think he's more of a power scheme guy. I think he's more of a, if you guys know, like a gap scheme, downhill. Ravens. Think the Ravens, what the Ravens do. Ravens went and got Linderbaum, good pick by them. If Ronnie Stanley comes back healthy again, gets that foot right, they got 2 good offensive linemen there starting right away. But I like Falele. I think he's a big, massive mauler. I don't think he's an outside zone type, right? If you think about outside zone scheme, when you're trying to move the guy sideways, you're trying to get the defense running sideways, running all the time, just trying to find creases. Falele is more of a kind of guy, he's going to line up in front of you. He's going to take you from point A to point B straight back.
Oh, and like between the two positions though, right? Like tackle and like interior offensive line guard, when you're looking at like who's available versus like the need right now, especially with what we saw kind of happen in the NFC North, like which position would you lean towards as like the bigger need currently?
I would lean towards, if you look at the Chicago Bears offensive line, and we've talked about this many times on the podcast, and I think you do this even with wide receiver, you can do this with defensive line, you can do this with any position. I think you got to make like a basketball team, like when Adam was dominating up at the Libertyville YMCA up there at 6'3", when he was 6'3". Look, you have to get different kinds of bodies, right? You have to get different kinds of body types, and I think they have enough center types. Cody Whitehair can play center. Sam Mustafa can play center. Lucas Patrick can play center. If I'm not mistaken, I'm losing his name now, but from South Africa is still there. Dieter Iseland. He's still there. He can play center, right? So I think they have to get guard tackle types. That's why we all like Tyler Smith, right? We like the fact that he had the feet for guard, he had the feet for tackle, he had the body type to play either. This Petit Free is that kind of guy, right? Like a guard tackle type body. So I'm thinking that if I'm Ryan Poles and I'm not, those are the kind of guys you're looking at. But they're also going to look for outside zone types and Dylan Parham. Those kind of guys come up in my mind. The kind of guys who are really good athletes. I think he played for Memphis when we broke him down. Is that right, Nicholas? I think he was a Memphis guy when we broke him down. But those kind of guys, I'm thinking athletic guys who move guys side to side, get their helmet up the field, get on the second level, create seams for those kind of guys. But I would personally be looking for taller, bigger guards that I could put in there next to all my center types.
Well, you asked me earlier kind of, I guess, what would be going on at House Hall right now and how they're feeling. And I've taken some time here to sort of look at who's left. But not only we're kind of doing exactly what the Bears are doing right now in that room, because you look at, okay, how has this changed? The Vikings now have a pick ahead of you. You know, there's been some trades. But you look at the teams, I can't help but notice the Bucs, okay, I guess they could draft a wide receiver, but they have weapons. The Vikings, they have a couple wide receivers there already. Like, I guess they could. The Titans already took a wide receiver tonight. The Jets already took a wide receiver tonight. Probably the Giants, Texans are candidates in that area. You certainly could have teams leapfrog you. But also, those quarterbacks are still available. So you could also have teams, like that's one of the things that shook out tonight that I think helps the Bears, because at some point you're going to have teams start trying to grab those quarterbacks that were not drafted tonight. I guess my point is, and I know I'm talking about wide receivers a little bit, there's some good football players. You could pair Nakobe Dean, Bulldog at linebacker with Roquan Smith. Bernard Raymond.
That being said, Alex, Adam, would you trade back?
I guess depending on like if you
let's
say two teams trade up for some of these quarterbacks. Almost certainly I'm trying to trade back, because I just feel like it's unless one of these guys, like let's just say Nakobe Dean was somebody you just never thought was going to be there. You thought he was definitely going to be gone in the first round. You can't believe the Packers took his teammate over him. And then you might be running to the podium to be like, all right, we got our linebackers set now for the next 5 years. But other than that, I mean, there's the safety from Penn State, Jaquan Brisker, still out there. That's another guy I would take seriously.
The guy Logan Hall's still available too, Adam.
Logan Hall still out there, the 3 technique. I guess my point is, the more I'm looking at this, I think this first round played out very nicely for the Bears. Despite that run on wide receivers, there are some really good football players out there, Olin.
Yeah, and it was going to, right? It was always going to play out nicely. That was where the strength of the draft was. The strength of the draft was later in the second, third, and fourth rounds, and that's why you see people trading picks to get fourth-round picks to get back in the draft so they can get more guys in their room. So the Bears are, I think, in a pretty good position. Obviously, a lot of good football players are off the board, but not anywhere near where you would need to panic and say we can't get anybody. Obviously, eventually offensive line is getting a little thin. I think the kind of guys I think you come in and immediately make an impact. Now you can develop guys, you can get them in the room. Guys 2-3 years down the line, you can use them. I mean, my first year I sat behind Casey Wigman, and Casey Wigman was a great center. I learned a lot from him, but I definitely was not ready to play in the NFL my first year, which is hence why I went 64th in the third round of the NFL draft, and I had a lot to learn. I had a lot to learn about preparing as a pro. I had a lot to learn about training as a pro. And I had a lot to learn about playing the NFL game. So when you get to the point of, man, can these guys help now? Can they help Justin Fields grow now? You're getting a little thin there on the offensive line is the only thing I worry about. And it doesn't mean you can't find good football players who can help you later down the line. But it does mean eventually when you're talking about this year, the fact that you didn't go out and get any free agents to make an immediate impact except for Lucas Patrick, that's all you worry about a little bit.
Olin, for this first round, who do you think improved the most? I'm just going to throw out a team out there. Like, I think the Baltimore Ravens had an awesome draft. Going with Tyler Linderbaum and then Kyle Hamilton. I think they had, just a home run.
Of course, the Iowa guy. Yeah, of course they did.
Well, I mean,
Olin, he thinks the team that drafted the Iowa guy had the best draft of the night.
Well, and it's a center, so he's playing with my emotions, right? He knows I'm going to agree with him when they take the center. They must have improved. They took the center. But, I mean, the Ravens always seem to get a few guys, and they have a good secondary anyway, right, with Marlon Humphrey and Marcus Peters. They brought the Michigan, I'm losing his name now, but the Michigan defense coordinator came back, and he is their defense coordinator now for the Ravens. So they always seem to have, for whatever reason, the Ravens seem to have a pretty damn good draft. We talked about Tyler Linderbaum. They're playing the pivot. And then all of a sudden, maybe Ronnie Stanley comes back, who they didn't have all year last year, who you would argue when healthy is the top 3 left tackles in the whole NFL. So their O-line gets a huge boost there. I think you got to be a little bit impressed. Obviously, they had 3 first-round picks, but what the Jets did, taking Sauce Gardner, they got that. Lewis Riddick was emotional over Jermaine Johnson. I'm glad he finally got taken. I was worried about Lewis a little bit. And then who was the Jets? Their last pick was Garrett Wilson, the Ohio State wide receiver to get speed on the field. So the Jets have 3 first-round picks. They do a nice job. And I thought that the Chargers, obviously being an offensive line guy, getting Zion Johnson to put him next to Slater and Lindsley. I think Lindsley is the center for the Packers. They signed him last year in free agency, put those guys in front of Herbert, and got themselves a pretty damn good offensive line now.
Olin, we ask you so much about offensive linemen. How about some of the pass rushers that go up against? Let's not forget the Bears could use some pass rushers. Boye Mafe from Minnesota is still out there. He's a guy that was getting some potential first-round love.
Perion Winfrey still available?
Free apparent. And the Bears, look, we heard a little bit of rumors about them trading Robert Quinn, right? And would they trade Robert Quinn at 32 years old after he won the Piccolo, still 3 behind me, but we won't get into that. Listen, you can always, like your guy's saying, you always need pass rush in this league. You just do. I can't say I studied a ton of pass rushers. As you probably know, I get bored watching them. They're doing all the kung fu, and they don't really interest me too much. But Eberflus, in his system, he wants to rush 4. He wants to play zone behind it. He's got to get a little pass rush. Their defensive line right now, it's the first time you come into the year in many years and you say these guys don't really scare you. Right, that defensive line before they would keep offensive linemen up at night. So position Adam as we go through this draft, they should be probably looking for pass rush and a cornerback to put opposite Jalen Johnson and a safety to match up with Eddie Jackson. They do this team we've talked about a lot. This team you could basically throw a dart, and they have needs in a lot of places.
So you just mentioned that, Olin. This team has so many needs in a lot of places. Would it surprise you if the Bears went 2 defensive players to kind of start off this day 2 of the draft if they really prioritize the defense here?
I would normally say not at all, right? In Chicago, I would normally say not at all. I've seen a defense get prioritized for a long time here, but we heard Ryan Post talk a lot about fixing this offensive line, right? We heard him. We know he's a former offensive lineman. Offensive line is his expertise when he came in. I think he sold the Chicago Bears brass on the fact that he could fix the offensive line. I think he wants to start at one of those 2 picks in the second round. He wants to start his tenure with an offensive lineman somewhere there. That's the only reason that it would shock me, because like you guys are saying, they could justify taking a lot of positions in this draft. The only reason why we keep talking about offensive line heavy is that's all we've heard about. That's what Ryan Poles' expertise is supposed to be. Ian Cunningham is a former offensive lineman. I got to think they think that they want their identity, the first couple guys they pick in their first NFL draft, I would have to think it's going to be an offensive lineman.
I think there's a lot of logic there in what you just said, Olin, because with all that stuff about the offensive line that he said, and then you see what he's actually done in free agency, there's a lot of logic in thinking, well, it's got to be addressed tomorrow. And I feel the same way about the 3 technique, because you saw the Bears try to address that, and then that fell through, and we know how important that is to the head coach, Matt Eberflus. So I could see both of those being the picks tomorrow. So let me ask you this, Olin. If George McCaskey is paying you $16 an hour to
$16.02.
Okay, to be the guy making the pick tomorrow night,
Yes.
and you're going to go offensive line. You have Bernard Raymond available. Daniel Fa'alele, we got your thoughts on him earlier. Darian Kennard, Rasheed Walker, Dylan Parham. You're right, though. There's a little bit of a drop-off here, but where would you go if you picked one of those guys at number 39?
One of the few guys I studied that you mentioned was probably Kennard. If you're talking about the guys you just mentioned. And again, I just go back to Adam talking about body types. Again, there's much different guys in the room, and not getting another guy. I've talked many a times and loved these two guys and love playing next to them, but I thought it hurt us when late in my career we had Roberto Garza and Josh Beekman, right? And we were all basically 3 centers in the middle of the Chicago Bears offensive line. I think it's always good to mix and match guys and have somebody that has your weaknesses, say long arms, big, tall guy, heavy, playing next to you. And then you fill in with the speed and maybe the ability to process football and get guys all moving in the right direction. So that's why I would go in that direction. But you can make an argument for anybody really there on that offensive line that fits an outside zone scheme. They always talk about hat speed and outside zone schemes, getting your hat across, running guys side to side. We talked about all that earlier. So, but out of those guys you talked about, I'd probably go with Kennard.
On the same kind of token, though, it's like, let's flip it to the defensive front. Like, out of a few guys that are available, we have DeMarvin Leal, Nick Skyperry, Winfrey, Logan Hall. Like, which one would maybe present, opposing offensive linemen, the biggest fits, or who would you take out of that trio?
Yeah, I can't say I studied those guys a lot, right? I looked at Perry on Winfrey a little bit, Logan Hall, taller guy. Don't know how much he matches what Eberflus wants to do, although DeForest Buckner, who is an absolute freak, has done a great job with that body type there in that defense in Indianapolis. But I would say if those guys are on the board, then you take the highest guy ranked on their board if they're going defensive line there.
All right, Olin, appreciate you staying up late with us. You'll be here tomorrow night for our full show.
What you guys get for dinner there tonight?
What was the ruling on tomorrow?
It's pizza. Tomorrow's pizza.
Yeah, but
Tomorrow's pizza. What'd you guys get tonight?
Portillo's.
Portillo. Oh, you can't ruin Portillo's, man.
Yeah.
Portillo's is good.
Yeah, went Portillo's. We're
awesome,
pizza
man.
tomorrow.
Guys, you guys do a great job. I appreciate you guys having me on.
All right, thanks. There he is, Olin Kreutz.
Okay.
He'll be here from the start tomorrow. We are on at 6 p.m. on the dot to start tomorrow. When the second round starts, we are here. We'll have the lead up to the Bears pick, and we will get those picks. We should have at least 3, maybe more tomorrow night, depending on how it all plays out. I think there's a lot of good players still available. Honestly, a couple that I did not expect to be available that I'm going to have to go home tonight and watch a little bit more film of. Nakobe Dean being one of them. Yep. Bernard Raymond, who's the Central Michigan offensive lineman that I like. I'm trying to just not look at the resume too much because he used to play football in Austria. Yeah. He was a wide receiver. Then he became a tight end. Now he's an offensive lineman. He played in the MAC, and I'm like this. But maybe that's all the reasons why he fell out of the first round.
Maybe, Nick, when Adam was saying that, I was thinking like he's like a Pokemon, like evolving, right? Like receiver, tight end, offensive tackle. Like that's a crazy amount of like body change, but like you talk about clouds. As Olin and everyone was talking, I was just trying to quickly compile a list. I have like 16 players that I would be okay with drafting at pick 39.
Yeah.
And I think that speaks volumes of like the Bears' potential willingness to trade down here tomorrow night. Because if you have a cloud that large, and I think we talked about it yesterday, it's just a math exercise.
Jalen Petre, Kyler Gordon, who we've talked about, Logan Hall, whose name just came up, and I know I've talked about a lot that I think is a Jaquan Brisker. There are a lot of guys here that could really help the Chicago Bears. The one thing, though, is offensive line is where I think it's a little bit weak at this point.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. But we will be here for you. We promise it's going to be a lot of fun. And just one more time, want to make sure you know that if you're looking to bet on who the Bears take, PointsBet is the place to do that. The home of live betting for the NFL draft. PointsBet will price any draft market you want. Download the PointsBet app today. Use code CHGO. Get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. There's some good. We gave it to you the other day. There's good value on defensive linemen, by the way.
Yeah.
If they do take that 3 technique with their first pick, I think it was like
plus 450 or something.
Plus
like that.
450 or something like that. Obviously, those are probably adjusted tonight based on the picks that have been made by other teams. Christian Watson's still out there.
George Pickens is still there, you
Pickens
guys. I
is
know
there.
that excites a lot of Bears fans. So
We know Will has a Post-it note in his pocket right now that if you open it up, it says Sky Moore no matter what. But
That's not what it says. It was one mock draft. It was one mock draft.
wait a minute. He didn't deny, though, that there's a piece of paper. Now I want to know what it says. He just said it's not Sky Moore. Now I want to know what it is.
I wish I had an actual
It's the receipt for his tire that he had to.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that.
sucks.
Yeah, that was a rough way to start the day, popping a tire in the middle of nowhere.
How are you in the middle? You wrote that message. I want to be like, why were you in the middle of nowhere?
I went to like where I grew up in like Northwest Indiana,
okay.
middle of the cornfields. Kind of caught up with some friends and was heading to breakfast this morning and hit a pothole. Immediately it went flat and waited for a tow truck. Put a spare on, found a tire. It was a nice, $500 day.
That's too bad. I mean, you had to go all the way out there to hit a pothole. You could just drive on the Kennedy.
I know.
It's like driving on the surface of the moon right now.
Drive right down the block.
Oh,
They're
my
all over the
goodness.
place.
Do they do anything about that? There's literally one lane on the inbound Kennedy I like just stay out of every single time I drive down here because it's
bad.
It's like guaranteed to pop.
I mean,
all
I'll
4
say
tires.
this: like on 290, every morning when I come in during rush hour, they've got one of the lanes. They've got like the trucks, like telling you to go to the left, go to the left.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Why are you doing this at 9 a.m.? Do this in 3 in the morning. I don't care. You're union guys. Get up in the middle of the night. Come on, man.
Also, invent roads that don't break.
That would.
Well,
that'd be great.
that's all. That's actually they got to keep their jobs. Is the
I know.
problem.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Let's fix this so
One
we
of-
can fix
one-
it again next week.
Surface of the moon.
One of
That
our
makes sense. Good.
longtime listeners of like the Chicago Wild Bowl and now our show, big fan, Jonathan Otten, was texting me about the tire, and he's like, Washington State has the best roads, man. Like never a pothole. They're made out of like some like granite like style roads, and I told him like now I want to take a vacation just to Washington State to show my kids like the pristine roads.
Yeah. Oh, it's it's like the iPhone. They don't have to break every year. They just do it on a schedule, so you have to buy the next one.
Yep.
Yeah, we get it.
Samsung.
Oh, that thing sucks.
Samsung.
Get out of here.
Samsung.
We
Team
get
Samsung.
you need to get an iPhone so we can text you without the.
We want the blue.
Yeah, we want the blue.
We want the blue.
Nobody likes the green text guy.
No.
All right, we gotta come on.
100% agree. I hate the green text.
Don't be the green text guy.
I'm the green text guy. Sorry.
My fantasy football league, there was one guy that had the green, and it just ruined the whole league. We actually got him to finally get an iPhone by Thanksgiving.
Wow.
The worst part about the green text guy in the group text is that then you get people who don't realize they still hit the they double tap for the haha or the I liked this, and then it tells you this person liked, and then it writes out the sentence.
Yes.
And then you get 19 people doing that, and you're like, what is going on with the world? That's just not. Get an
why we use
iPhone
Slack.
already. Come on.
There you go.
Come on.
That's why the green text guy, he'll be at House Hall tomorrow night.
That's right.
That's my punishment. That's my punishment. Go to House Hall.
No, we are. It's going to be awesome. So tomorrow night we're going to be set up. Nick's going to be at House covering the Bears picks. He'll get all the reaction from who the Bears pick. Ryan Poles will speak to the media, and I'm looking forward to seeing all that coverage from House. Will, you'll be back here with me and Olin Kreutz in studio for the entire night.
I didn't even pick the Bears to go to the Super Bowl.
No one did. Like no
No,
one
you
said
did.
that.
Nope, you heard it. We'll bring back the
Can we
tape.
do one fun thing before we head off this real quick?
Yes.
Just name one player that the Bears will draft. Like, if you had to put your money on there right now, just one player. I don't care.
Sky
the
Moore.
position.
Punt God.
Punt God.
Kyler Gordon.
Yes. Punt
Kyler
God.
Gordon from Washington.
That was
Put it
actually
down.
who I was going to take, so I'll go somewhere else on that one.
How about
let's
Salyer,
go
the
with
lineman from Georgia?
the
Jamari
Jamari
Salyer? Salyer?
Salyer?
Okay.
Yeah, that wouldn't make sense.
That one would make sense, so I'm not going to say it, though. I'm going to go with...
'Cause I already did.
Tomorrow, we're going to go with Roger McCreary because I don't think Gordon makes it.
Oh, that's a good one.
So I think
like
McCreary
that.
would
I
be
think
there. He'll be available.
McCreary went 38th in our mock draft, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow, that's a good recall.
Hey, you know,
I'm
I do
going to
what I
actually
can.
say, seriously, Logan Hall, though.
Okay.
Defense.
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 Hey,
All
we are
three
the
of us.
NFC North up here, guys.
Yes.
Yeah, essentially.
We are Brian Gutekunst.
Thanks, Anthony. Super chat. Booth and McCreary still on the board. CB
Yes.
next.
I think
Let's
so.
go.
A lot of good players. I don't know about you guys. I'm not going to go home and go to sleep. I am going to be watching some of these guys that I'm surprised that are still available.
Can I suggest if you're going to watch a Nakobe Dean film, just go to the semifinal, the CFP semifinal, and watch the play where he runs down from across the field. He runs down the Michigan running back. And like it's like a little swing pass, I think, and he gets him in the backfield. It's a play that should have gained at least 5 to 7 yards.
Doesn't.
And it's a tackle for loss. It's wild.
Sounds like Roquan Smith.
Yeah. Shout out to In the Bleachers Michael Felder, my old coworker. Love that guy. He's killing it for draft night as well. So
Well,
yeah, that's all.
A lot of guys behind the scenes here that you get to see Aaron Rodgers, but we also have Joey. We got a whole crew. Jake Flanagan's still here. Kevin Kadek's still here. So many people behind the scenes.
Kevin
Casey's-
Kadek's dog.
The dog. We gotta get the dog on.
Yeah, where's Maisie at?
She went to
Maisie
bed.
sleeping?
She's been running around. Oh, she's
Maisie's
actually
right
in
there.
Kevin's lap right now.
Oh, here we go.
We gotta
great
come
way to
on. We
end the
gotta end the
show.
show with the dog. Yeah. She's so tired though. She's been running around here all day. Come here. Come here.
Yeah.
Here, Maisie. You got to pick her up, though.
We can't get her. Can't we pick her up? I don't know. Come here, Macy.
Oh, she's just stretching.
Can't see this
Can't
'cause
see, yeah.
The graphics down there. We go. Look, even got the little bear shirt. What a way!
What a
to
great
end.
way to
Oh,
What a way to
Maisie.
end the night.
Oh, you're so cute, Maisie.
I'm no longer talking in front of the mic. All right, we're out of here. Good night to Macy. Good night to everybody helping us out here at CHGO. We'll be back tomorrow. Olin Kreutz will be here. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us everywhere. Hit that subscribe button. We'll talk to you tomorrow at 6 o'clock.
See ya.